It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that one and done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball information. Join tonight on your viewing device right there. It's me. I'm the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train at Dr. William Cannon on X. My name is Jay Heinrich. And he is El Capitan around here. Man, El Capitan himself. The OG Money Mike at MC Holland 34 on X. That is Mr. Mike Holland. It's news and notes time here on the show, and the OGs in the chat know that means you get an opening possession from both of us. You get everyone's favorite segment in college basketball, the mid-major minute. And to wrap up the show, we'll bring you our top 25 power rankings, which are revered throughout the galaxy. Hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and hop in that live chat like our guy Forklift Jeremy. What it do, man? Good to see you. Hope you're nice and warm right now. Hope you're not out on the lift right now, but if you are, we appreciate you either way. Thanks for hopping in there. Join Forklift Jeremy in the live chat by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road with the captain's opening possession.
All right. Well, I'm about to add to this opening possession based on what's happening. You know, we usually do the recap on Sundays. We get our top 25 out. And now we've got a live, top 10 game going on right now. So that's where we're going to start, is the top 5. If you remember, Jay, last Sunday, I sat here and said that nothing's going to happen to our top 5. It's going to remain the same. And guess what? I forgot. This is college basketball, where mistakes are always made, at least from people that try to cover the sport, because you just never know what is going to happen, man. So right now we've got Kansas leading down the stretch here against Arizona without Darren Peterson, but we had Gonzaga, UConn, and Duke all fall. And yeah, man, Gonzaga falling midweek at Portland. Cool stuff. I mean, you always like to see an underdog every now and then. There's a team that they hadn't lost to, I think it was 12 years, over a decade. So, and honestly, Jay, it was going to happen eventually, right? They weren't just going to steamroll all these double digit. At one point, somebody was going to pull an upset. So, yeah, the one thing that Mark Few's really done a great job of is kind of keeping his team sharp through this. I think he doesn't mind that loss, right? He can really get their attention now. Obviously, they're missing Braden Huff, so that's a big thing for them. They have to play a little bit differently, but yeah. Gonzaga falling, and then UConn got smacked back to reality by St. John's. What's crazy is that UConn shot 55% from the field on the road. Do you expect to win when you shoot 55% on the road, but you lose the turnover battle, you get out-rebounded? And, yeah, UConn probably going to fall out of our top 5 when we get there. Then we have the Duke collapse down the stretch at UNC. I know Forklift and some of our OGs in the chat, like Cam, pretty excited about that. I don't really know what Duke was doing down the stretch. They led the entire game. Boozer misses the bunny. It felt like a bunny to me. I mean, for his skill level.
Yeah.
It's a little too strong off the glass there. And then they get caught overhelping with 2 guys at the rim. They just give up a wide open shot, which I thought that was a pretty nice play call drawn up by Heber Davis, who we have on the hot seat like every other week, man. But obviously the matchup between Wilson and Boozer lived up to the hype. And then I'll slide over to the Mountain West, man. I thought it was interesting. So we love following Lenardi, right? We really like, kind of his projections. It's that time of year. He's got the Mountain West, man, with 2 bids. That's pretty great. Yeah, 2 after 4 last year, Jay, and remember 6 the year before.
Yeah.
So this is a sharp fall off, man. You got Utah State and San Diego State safely in as at-large teams, as long as they don't collapse down the stretch. But yeah, teams like New Mexico and Nevada, they're just hanging around and on the bubble, man. They got to avoid losses to anyone not named Utah State and San Diego State in conference. Maybe one of them, if they can kind of run it and pick up some quality wins here, can make it a 3-bid league. But yeah, 2-bid league's kind of crazy. Boise State obviously lost their bigs, Degenhardt, and then you got Grand Canyon lost Brennan and TGF. Just tough stuff, man. Medved's over there at Minnesota from Colorado State, so all that talent they had kind of gone there. But, yeah, that's my opening possession, Jay. What do you got?
Shout out to Nico Medved for making that move up to Minnesota when nobody else in the world wanted that job. I will give him credit anytime I get opportunity for doing so up there at his alma mater. Hey, before we get to my opening possession, Go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons if you have not already. Join the 1,751 certified ball knowers in this community. All it costs you one little click right there. So push that button if you haven't already. Turn your notification bells so you don't miss one single solitary minute of our college basketball covers. The live chat is on fire. Our guy Eric the Blue pushing the buttons tonight. Going to start flashing some of those up as I get my opening possession underway here. And for us, here come the Florida and Houston Trains, the two that played for it all last year. You know, and both of them were kind of off to sluggish starts, Mike, based on their preseason expectations. We saw those two teams in their Final Four matchups live in the flesh last year, and we obviously expected them to be at the top of the game all season long. Well, you know, it took them a little bit to get back up where they belong, but as of yesterday, they were number 1 and 2 on Torvik's top teams in the last 10 games, ahead of the team who I will eventually pick to be my national champion. And just
oh, here we go.
Fans throughout, they were number 3. So Houston coming up an impressive week after blowing out UCF at home, a team that had gotten a couple of nice wins under their belt, built some momentum. No, you played Houston, you lose. And then the Cougars went on the road to Provo and beat BYU. Now sitting at 21-2 on the year. We got Sinak and Flemings, the young guys, playing some really good ball for Houston. Let's move on to the Gators real quick. Florida routed both Alabama and Texas A&M last week. Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight.
I knew it.
Blame it on the good times. Blame it on Boogie. Boogie Fland looks like he has found his groove, and the Hauk Condon Chinyalu front court is starting to impose their will. Obviously, I'm not, breaking any news saying that these two are going to make the noise come March, but these are all teams, including Arizona, that I mentioned in that little tiff there. All of those teams are going to be popular to win the whole thing, in my opinion. A little bit farther down the power rankings here, not too far though. St. John's surviving tonight, back on the national map, a 5-point overtime victory over Xavier. I tell you what, man, that big-time win against UConn last Friday night got themselves into a little bit of trouble late at home against the Musketeers, but they were able to force that missed shot in regulation to send the game into overtime. They scored 9 points in overtime. Guess who had 7? Zuby Ejiofor. He's mode, man. He's all right. He's a decent player. Actually, he's fantastic. And he helped give the Red Storm their 10th straight victory, man. Clearly not the strongest Big East in recent memory, but they are playing much better on both ends of the floor, are the Johnnies. The big three lineup of Hopkins, Mitchell, and Zuby there. It's as tough as it gets, right? But the guard play, that's what's taken them to the next level here. It's just much more consistent on a regular basis. Osiah Sellers has really solidified that backcourt, Mike. And Dylan Darling starting to gain some confidence as that reliable backup point guard, the guy that you need to come off the bench and steer that ship. Sometimes when the waters get a little rough, a sign of a good captain is in how he steers the ship when the waters are calm. Anyways, Dylan Darling is doing everything that they need him to and more. Let's see if the Johnnies can keep the momentum going, Mike, on the road with dates at Providence and at Marquette next up on their schedule. If you haven't already, push those like and subscribe buttons. Hop in the live chat like Forklift Jeremy. Our guy Nape. Where's Nape? On the moon right now? Who knows where he is?
Who knows, man?
But he's hanging out somewhere, and it's always good to see him. Ryan Osterman from our friends over at Bracket Bits up in there. The godfather of Iowa bowling. Cam is in there, of course. Travis up in. Hello to you too, good sir. Cam having a good night. And not really going to get the top 25 on a 5 games, 278 fantasy points, Mike. Not in the hey, hit it 5 game slate. Gotta do what you gotta do, my guy. Right?
Yeah.
Darren, no hate in the live chat tonight, man. Okay, all right, here we go. Yeah, we love to see Darren. We love to see Travis. We love to see everybody in the live chat. So make sure you push all those buttons, because after you push the buttons, I'm going to give you 3 seconds to do it. 1, 2, 3. Now, you better pay attention, because it's time for everyone's favorite segment in college basketball. That's right. It's time for the mid-major minutes.
All right, on this week's edition of the Mid-Major Minute, trying to try something a little different as we climb our way to March. We're going to look at a segment I'm calling It's a Wrap. So I got two conferences here in the mids that are locked up, at least for the regular season title. We'll go out to the Northeast Conference, the NEC. Long Island 10-1 in the conference, 3.5 game lead with 6 to go. Coach Rod Strickland has his squad close to breaking into the top 200 on Ken Palm. And then over in Conference USA, Liberty has a 12-0, record going here with 8 to go. I just don't see them falling here. That one is wrapped up, man. 4-game lead in the conference. Coach Richie McKay doing Coach McKay things. Switching over to another segment, we'll call it the Big Boys. Talk about some of the conferences that can challenge up there in the top 10 of strength of conference. We got the Missouri Valley. Murray State, man, ripped off an 8-0 start, and we thought they could potentially run away with it, but this conference is too strong. Not so fast. They lost 4 straight after the 8-game winning streak to start conference play, and then Belmont decided to heat up. They've won 9 straight, and they now have a 2-game lead. What's interesting is that Belmont's going to take on second-place Murray State and third-place Bradley this week, and what will most likely determine the regular season crown in the Valley. And then the Atlantic 10, look, we were banging on the door 3-4 weeks ago saying it's a 2-bid A10. It's a 2-bid A10. I don't know if that's going to be a reality or not. I know Lenardi has them as a 1-bid league. I think with St. Louis keeps winning at 23-1 and 11-0, there is firmly a second spot for the A10 to be had because you have VCU and George Mason, both 9-2 in conference, trying to secure resumes down the stretch that are worthy of an at-large. VCU obviously having the strongest case. Look, they both still have to play St. Louis and each other. So if one can kind of run the table down the stretch with those 2 wins, I think it makes for a pretty strong argument. So that's what's going down over in the Missouri Valley and the A10. And that is the latest from around the country with your Mid-Major Minute.
Oh, sorry. I'm still moving and shaking after that big concert that happened last night, and they just happened to play a football game too. But shout out to everybody that's joining us. Shout out to Mike for the Mid-Major Minute. Love taking a look around those mid-majors. We're showing mid-majors some love here on One and Done, and we're showing the live chat some love. Thanks for hopping in for doing so. Ryan telling me to give Nico a year. I'm a believer in Nico Medved, man. I promise you. Like I'm a supporter of taking that job, one of the worst jobs in college basketball. You can't tell me it wasn't before he took it. And that's people will do crazy things for their alma mater, Mike. It's wild, man.
Oh yeah.
He's going to try to do it for sure. All right, let's move it on up to the power rankings. That's right. The Galaxy famous One and Done power rankings. That's right. We're working on the catchphrase here, but we'll shine it up a little bit. Yeah, okay, it'll be fine. I promise. It's fine. Rolling down from 25 all the way to 1. Let's start with the bottom 5 in the top 20. The bottom 5 in the top 25. That doesn't anyway. All right, math. Anyways, Miami, Ohio, right there. They will have a spot until otherwise. And the otherwise part is when they take an L. They will stay in our top 25. Right there, Miami, Ohio, followed by St. Louis, the Billikens, hanging around at number 24. St. John's 23, BYU 22, Iowa at number 21. Mike, Miami and St. Louis keep crushing their conference slates like we figured that they would. And the Johnnies re-entering our top 25 as that clear second-best team in the Big East, pretty much like we thought. That's where they are. Who we thought they were.
We are who we thought they were. Yeah, absolutely, man. Love a great story there with the Red Hawks. We'll see if they can keep it going. If they win enough games, there's going to be talk that there needs to be a second bid out of the MAC, but I don't see that happening, honestly. But BYU having a tough week, failing to secure a ranked win. But obviously, we know the talent on that team. They're now 5-5 in Big 12 play. And then Iowa picking up a 6th straight win. They got Maryland Wednesday before a gauntlet stretch to end the year. So we'll see what this Iowa team's all about as we head down here the final 3-4 weeks of the regular season, Jay.
The godfather of Iowa bowling amped up about Iowa being in our top 25 power rankings there. Shout out to Cam For sure. Hey, let's move on. The next five here, 20 through 16, Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, Virginia, and Clemson. SEC moving on up
This is
to the
Darren's favorite
next
part.
tier. Yeah, Darren's favorite part of the show where we slobber all over the SEC. It's time for Alabama, Arkansas, and Kentucky in one little conversation here, Darren. Cover your ears because they all look good despite whatever it is that each one of those particular teams is dealing with. Those are all very, very good basketball teams. The Bediako thing is
It's
just like,
over.
thanks for coming. Like, G League
Yeah,
dropout chance were had, and I guess we'll always
yeah,
have that,
yeah.
Thank
Well, I
you, I
mean,
guess. But Arkansas battling injuries to Wagner and Knox. And then, of course, we know Big Blue Nation, Kentucky, having lost out on two key contributors in Jaden Quaidon and, of course, Lowe as well. So, they're playing good ball, though, man, and hanging around our top 25.
yeah, and then you got Virginia and Clemson, the ACC duo that are kind of just going to stick with each other until someone can knock them off. They don't play each other in conference play, which is ridiculous, but they're continuing to roll. And they both have big games this weekend. So Valentine's Day here, Virginia playing Ohio State in a neutral site game, in a non-con game. It's very important for Ohio State to boost their resume. Virginia firmly into the tournament as of right now. And then Clemson getting their Valentine's Day date with old Duke. So that'll be fun to watch. Yeah, we get some competition for Virginia and Clemson. Let's go.
Why not, man? Love it. And I don't know. I don't want to hear the toy poodle stuff tonight. I'm not trying to hear it. Like they're not there. They're not the same conference they were last year. We can agree on that at least. They're not the same conference. That definitely deserved that moniker last year, in my opinion. This year, it doesn't look like the same conference. So, Clemson and asking the Dukies to be their Valentine. Excellent. Mike, before we move on real quick, I wanted to ask you, are there teams in that tier that you feel like are capable of winning the national championship, or do we need to go up another tier to sort of find one of those teams?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, the SEC teams, right? But they all have something weird with quirky going on. Like Alabama, right? They needed
Yeah.
now they tried the Bediaka thing. It's not going to work out. Arkansas, their depth is kind of an issue, and then Kentucky, it's like, and they lost their two guys that we thought were going to be, you know, and now
Yeah.
they're throwing off these wins. Is it real? I mean, they're putting up putting up wins against ranked teams and stuff. So
So what
I need
about this
a
next
little
five
more
then?
consistency.
Michigan State, Texas Tech, Nebraska, Gonzaga, and Florida. You got five more teams now as we get into our top 15. And a couple of them are coming off some really bad losses, right? The Zags you mentioned falling to Portland and Michigan State with the stinker on the road against Minnesota. Like, not a great week for
Yeah.
them. But like, honestly, like, is the Texas Tech a team
Yeah.
that like could make a like that? To me, that was the first team looking at this list earlier before we came on air. Like, Texas Tech at 14 felt to me like the team farthest down that I would feel comfortable, saying like, yeah, they have. I feel
Yeah.
like they have a legit shot to win it.
Yeah. So the Texas Tech, obviously, if Gonzaga had Huff, right? It's just tough because they don't play any tough games for like a month and a half. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
what are we doing here? They're just not facing that. That's why they play so many tough games to start the year. But yeah, I love Tech here and their upside. Obviously, tough previous couple of games before this last one where they got the road
yeah.
victory at a tough West Virginia, venue. So I mean, yeah, solid team there for Tech. JT Toppin, obviously, somebody's got to try to stop him in March. Good luck. And then yeah, you got Florida here, man. The upside is crazy, but I'm having a hard time fully believing in it. But what they're doing right now, Jay, I mean, they're just cooking right now, man. I mean, they absolutely blasted Texas A&M the other day. So yeah, I mean, I think if I had to pick one, Tech probably feels more the like safe floor, highest upside. But I think the
Yeah.
Gators, man, Thomas Houck at the three, it's kind of working. If they can get it all just churning for the next month, then yeah, they're going to be absolutely dangerous. They'll be inside of our top 10 pretty soon, obviously.
Going on the road to West Virginia, we talk about how slow Houston plays. we don't really talk a lot about the fact that West Virginia actually plays slower than Houston does.
Yeah.
You go on the road and they just try to muck it up. That's a big-time road win in what is looking like the toughest conference in college basketball this year, up and down. So shout out to Tech for doing that. And then, yeah, of course, Florida's Florida, man. That's a tough out in any tournament for sure. Let's move to the top 10 after everybody hits the like and subscribe buttons. Pew, 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 pew. Darren, you said that they weren't making noise. The like button, I think if you do it now, it'll. I think it's like the next 3 seconds. You could, if it'll make noise. Darren, let us know if it does or not. But let's move on now to 10 through 6. Kansas, who is currently playing Arizona right now. We got a score on that one live. We got Kansas up 4 with 2.5 minutes left. You know, I call him Darren BD Peterson, and the BD it stands for business decision, because again, like some of this stuff that who knows why he's not out there, but I don't know, man. That's another team that I don't want to deal with the drama. I don't feel that. Talk about stuff going on in your program and distractions, and like I don't want to have to deal with it. I know he's the number 1 pick in the draft, and obviously the other night he bailed his team out and made 2 threes in the last 30 seconds and got them a victory. But I don't know, man. It's tough. They're a really good basketball team, Mike. The Jayhawks are great. We'll see if they can find a way to eke this one out tonight. North Carolina, a part of our open with their huge win over Duke. I saw Darren asked if I lost a bet. No, this is just an old hoodie that I put on. Something I actually cut the sleeves off. This is the Central Texas tuxedo right here. So I'm just rocking this because it's not winter here. Our winter's done, man. Yeah. Like it's over. We're not freezing again down here. So I still want to rock the hoodie. But anyways, shout out to Darren for calling me out for my apparel here tonight. But yeah, big win for North Carolina over Duke, and they're sitting in our top 10 up 5 spots.
Yeah, the big mover, man. Big mover. Now we got a couple of followers, Illinois, Connecticut. Illinois almost got one at Michigan State this weekend, but fell into overtime. So that's kind of more to do with what other teams have done, right? For UConn, it's like you just have the one challenger in the Big East. Like, make us believe, right, that everything is real. Of course, on the road, right? They dropped that one, so dropping down a couple of spots. Purdue just quietly getting themselves back together, and we'll obviously find out this week because they go to Nebraska and Iowa to try to hold on to this top 10 ranking.
If you had to pick one team from that tier, only one, who would you rather wager all of your money on your bracket bids team to win it all?
Probably Illinois, just with their offensive firepower.
Love it.
Their offense is so good. They're going to steamroll the first two rounds just based on offense alone.
Right. I love it. Like, it's not necessarily the one that everybody's going to go to, right? They're just so far ahead of everybody else offensive rating wise. Like,
dude,
it's not even close. It's crazy. But yeah, I totally get that pick for sure. All right, top 5 here. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. And if you've been paying attention, you know who these 5 teams are here now. And it's not surprising to have Houston and Iowa State back in our top 5. But I want to talk about Duke. Literally led the entire game on the road against North Carolina until there were 0.4 seconds left. Seth Trimble hits the 3 there. Beautifully executed, out of a timeout. They find the guy wide open. They storm the court. Oh, wait, hold on. We got to put time back on. Somehow there's not a technical foul assessed for there being everybody on the floor. And then, obviously they hit the ball around and nothing happens. And then they re-storm the court. We got to talk about some court storming stuff here. But anyways, big win, obviously, there for North Carolina. And Duke dropped 1 spot because of that loss, but still a top 5 team. They're doing just fine for themselves, Mike. And then Houston, again, a team that, to me, if you told me that they were number 1 on our power rankings, I'd be like, yeah, fine. It is what it is, man. They're shifting gears along with Florida. They're peaking at the right time. They look really good, man. So, what are your thoughts on the rest of this top 5?
Yeah, so they kind of got Iowa State getting a scare from Baylor. They held on. They got 5 straight. Schedule gets a lot tougher coming up. Michigan blew the doors off of Penn State and Ohio State last week. We just think that right now Michigan, Arizona has it. Kansas is about to pull this upset, so it's going to make for a tough deal, right? We usually do these on Sunday. These were drawn up yesterday, obviously Super Bowl and everything, but I don't know that it changes anything, Jay. Like even if they lose at Lawrence, right? I don't know that Arizona, you can say, is still not the number one team. You can make an argument that maybe Michigan is. I just don't know that Duke or Houston, any of these other teams are going to have a say at that one spot when we do this next Sunday. So, yeah, it's a great game going on. So Kansas is up 6 with 50 seconds. So it looks like we're going to have a deep conversation later on this week about who we're going to choose as number one between Arizona's schedule. Jay, coming up is, it's pretty brutal. I think I sent a message to you in our group chat, man. They play Tech at home Saturday, then they play BYU the following Wednesday. The next Saturday they go to Houston, then they go to Baylor, then Kansas at home, then Iowa State at home, and then they go to Colorado, but still it's in Boulder, right, with the elevation, the final game of the year, the senior night. So yeah, this is going to be a stretch for Arizona. It would be scary if they drop enough games to be like a 3 seed and just like ruin some 1 seed's life.
Hey, you're going to be shocked at what Nape has to think about the University of Arizona. The Arizona State fan saying they should drop out of the top 5 in his opinion. Of course, Nape. Yes. I love it. I love it. Yeah, the hate is flying. We are, that's the kind of hate that we're okay with around here. Little jovial jab here and there. Hey, yes. Okay. Anyways, make sure you push all those buttons if you haven't already. Yeah, Darren, you're right. Bad Bunny is definitely subscribed to One and Done. And if you're not, you should be too. Who doesn't watch One and Done? I heard that there was somebody lobbying behind the scenes to have us actually be the alternative halftime show to Bad Bunny, but that didn't end up happening, But hey, it's obviously I declined because Benito's the man. But that's neither here nor there. So, hey, we really appreciate everybody for hanging out with us tonight. The live chat was absolutely on fire. Our guy Ryan Osterman from Bracket Pits hanging out with us. Darren, Cam, the Godfather of Iowa Bowling, of course, in the live chat. Who else? We got Travis hopped in there a couple of times. Good to see Travis in the live chat. And it looks like that. Oh, Forklift Jeremy led things off in the one hole. I like leading things up, get it on the ground and get on first, buddy. And that's what Jeremy did for us. We appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. Thanks for Nate for joining us from the moon. Thanks to our guy, Eric, the Blue, pushing the buttons tonight. Good to see his face in the studio, and good to see all of you in the lobby and hanging out with us as well, whether you watched on X, where you can follow us at One and Done CBB, or whether you're over here on YouTube. Push whatever buttons you can to follow us. You don't want to miss our year-round college basketball. I get excited and choked up just talking about it, guys. Our year-round college basketball coverage right here on One and Done. The man sharing your viewing device with me tonight, around here, he's known as El Capitan himself, the captain of the One and Done ship, at MC Holland 34 on X, the OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, appreciate you as always. Until next time, what do we got? DFS shows? What's coming up later this week, Mike, before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think we're going to do a little bit of everything, honestly, this week, man. We're we're saddled up and we're ready to bring some content, man. So pretty pumped for it. We're going to do a live reaction on Wednesday to Florida at Georgia. We'll do a DFS show, on Friday night. And then, the news and notes, we got a Mountain West stream looking like next Tuesday. So here we go, man. Here we go.
Hit all those buttons so you don't miss any of it. And until next time, tell somebody that you love them. Take care of yourselves, okay? My name is JAYHEINRICH. Come again. We'll see you.